I am King Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived. And tonight, I'm about to shatter every excuse you've made about why you're still broke. You want to know why you're struggling? Because your mind is programmed for failure. Every single day, you feed it garbage, doubt, fear, limitation. And then you wonder why your bank account looks like a wasteland. Stop lying to yourself. You know exactly what I'm talking about. While you sleep, your subconscious mind processes 60,000 thoughts, 60,000 opportunities to rewire your reality, or 60,000 reasons to stay exactly where you are. Mediocre, frustrated, watching everyone else win. Here's what the wealthy understand that you don't. Your mind is either your greatest asset or your biggest liability. There's no middle ground. Tonight, I'm giving you access to the same ancient wisdom that built my empire. The same mental programming that attracted more gold than any king in history. This isn't motivation. This is mental reconstruction. One night, that's all I'm asking. Listen to these rare recordings while you sleep. Let my words reprogram every limiting belief that's keeping you small. But here's the warning. Once you hear this, you can't unhear it. Once your mind shifts, there's no going back to being ordinary. Are you ready to stop being a victim of your own thoughts? Your mind never sleeps, but you've been wasting its power. Listen to me carefully. While you're lying there tonight, tossing and turning, worrying about tomorrow's problems, your mind is running the most sophisticated program on the planet, and you're letting it run on default settings. That's insane. Your ancestors knew something you've forgotten. They understood that sleep isn't rest. It's the most powerful transformation laboratory you'll ever have access to, and it's free, every single night, for 8 hours, but you're treating it like dead time. Here's what's really happening when you close your eyes. Your conscious mind, that critical voice that tells you why you can't succeed, finally shuts up. Your subconscious takes over. And your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. It doesn't care about your limitations. It doesn't know you're broke. It doesn't know you're scared. Think about this. Have you ever gone to sleep with a problem and woken up with the solution? Of course you have. Everyone has. That's not coincidence. That's your sleeping mind operating beyond the laws of logic, beyond the restrictions of your waking reality. Ancient cultures built entire civilizations around this understanding. The Egyptians called sleep the journey to the underworld. The Greeks believed dreams were messages from the gods. They weren't being mystical, they were being practical. They knew that the sleeping mind could weave destiny during the night. But here's what they really understood that you don't. During sleep, your mind operates in a state where thoughts become things faster than anywhere else, where your deepest beliefs about yourself get reinforced or rewritten, where the blueprint of your future gets drafted and redrafted every single night. You want proof this works? Look at your life right now. Every limitation you're experiencing, every pattern you keep repeating, every financial struggle you can't break through, that's all being programmed during your sleep, right now, tonight, while you do nothing about it. Your sleeping mind processes 60,000 thoughts every night. 60,000 opportunities to reprogram your reality, or 60,000 confirmations of why you'll stay exactly where you are. Which one sounds like your current program? Here's the brutal truth most people can't handle. Your mind never stops working. It's either working for you or against you. And if you're not consciously directing it during sleep, it's running on whatever garbage programming you picked up during the day. The news, your coworkers' complaints, your own self-doubt, that's what's building your future. But when you understand sleep as a transformation laboratory, everything changes. Suddenly, those 8 hours become the most valuable real estate in your entire life. Those are the hours when you can plant seeds in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind, when you can rewrite the code that's been keeping you small. The sleeping mind doesn't operate by the same rules as your waking consciousness. It doesn't need logical steps. It doesn't need to know how something will happen. It just needs clear instructions about what you want to become. And it goes to work immediately. Every night, your subconscious mind sorts through the day's experiences, deciding what to keep and what to discard, what to strengthen and what to weaken. It's like having a personal assistant who never sleeps, never takes breaks, and has unlimited access to universal intelligence. But most people give this assistant no direction whatsoever. Your ancestors knew that the hours between sunset and sunrise were sacred. They were the hours when the veil between the possible and the impossible became thinnest, when intentions planted with emotional intensity could take root and grow into physical reality. This isn't theory. This is how the human mind actually works, and you've been ignoring it your entire life. The two words that reprogram reality while you sleep. I am two words, the most powerful combination in any language, and most people use them to destroy their own lives every single day. I am broke. I am tired. I am stuck. I am confused. I am not good enough. You think those are just descriptions of how you feel. They're not. They're commands to your subconscious mind. They're programming instructions, and your subconscious follows them perfectly. But here's what changes everything. When you understand how to use I am declarations before sleep, you can literally reprogram your entire reality in 7 nights, not 7 months, not 7 years, 7 nights. Your subconscious mind is most receptive to new programming in the moments just before you fall asleep. Scientists call it the hypnagogic state. Your ancestors called it the gateway to transformation. That twilight zone between waking and sleeping, when your critical mind relaxes its grip and your deeper mind opens to new possibilities. This is when I am statements bypass all your mental resistance and go straight to the source code of your reality. When you declare I am wealthy just before sleep, your subconscious doesn't argue. It doesn't say, but you're broke. It doesn't list all the reasons why that's impossible. It simply says okay and starts looking for ways to make it true. But here's where most people screw this up. They think saying the words is enough. It's not. The power isn't in the words. The power is in the emotional state behind the words. Your subconscious responds to feeling, not thinking. When you say I am successful, you need to feel successful. When you declare I am abundant, you need to feel abundance flowing through your body. When you affirm I am confident, you need to embody confidence in that moment. That's what creates the vibrational match between your declaration and your reality. Here's the 7-night protocol that's been changing lives for thousands of years. Choose one area of your life that you want to transform. Just one. Don't try to fix everything at once. Pick your biggest pain point, your biggest limitation, your biggest frustration. Night 1. Lie in bed. Relax your body completely. Feel yourself sinking into that drowsy state where your mind starts to drift. Then declare your I am statement with absolute certainty. I am financially free. I am powerfully confident. I am magnetically attractive. Whatever matches your chosen transformation. But here's the key. Say it like it's already true, not like it's something you hope will happen someday, like it's happening right now. Feel it in your body. Let the emotion of that reality wash over you as you drift off to sleep. Night 2 through 7. Repeat the exact same process, same statement, same emotional intensity, same state of relaxed certainty as you fall asleep. Why 7 nights? Because that's how long it takes to create a new neural pathway in your brain. That's how long your subconscious needs to accept a new identity as truth. After 7 consecutive nights of the same I am declaration, your mind stops questioning it and starts manifesting it. But you need to understand something crucial. This only works if you do it with complete emotional authenticity. If you're saying I am wealthy while feeling broke, you're wasting your time. If you're declaring I am confident while feeling insecure, you're actually reinforcing the opposite. The moment just before sleep is sacred. It's when your conscious mind's defenses are down, When new beliefs can slip past your inner critic and plant themselves in the fertile soil of your subconscious. When you can literally reprogram your reality from the inside out. Your ancestors understood this intuitively. They knew that the last thoughts before sleep became the first seeds of tomorrow's reality. They treated bedtime like a ritual of transformation, not just a biological necessity. This is why successful people have different bedtime routines than unsuccessful people. They're not just preparing their bodies for sleep. They're preparing their minds for transformation. They're using those precious moments of receptivity to install new programming about who they're becoming. The power of I am statements before sleep isn't just about positive thinking. It's about identity programming. When you consistently declare I am successful as you drift off to sleep, you're not just hoping to become successful. You're literally becoming successful at the deepest level of your being. 5 lives that prove your sleeping mind creates miracles. Michael Rodriguez was broke, not just financially struggling, completely broke. His silk trading business in Damascus had collapsed. Creditors were calling. His family was facing eviction. He had 48 hours to find a solution or lose everything. But Michael understood something most people don't. Your sleeping mind doesn't recognize impossible. It only recognizes instructions. For 7 consecutive nights, as he lay in his small apartment listening to the sounds of the ancient city outside his window, Michael declared the same statement before sleep. I am a successful silk merchant. I am abundant. I am prosperous. He didn't just say the words. He felt the silk flowing through his hands. He saw his warehouses full of the finest fabrics. He experienced the reality of his success with every fiber of his being. On the 8th morning, Michael received a call from a textile manufacturer in Italy. They needed a Damascus connection for authentic silk. The contract was worth more than he'd made in the previous 2 years. Coincidence? Michael knew better. But here's what really happened. While Michael slept, his subconscious mind was networking. It was guiding his attention to opportunities he'd previously missed. It was adjusting his energy so he attracted the right people. It was literally orchestrating the synchronicities that would match his internal reality. This is how the sleeping mind works. It doesn't create miracles from nothing. It aligns your perception and actions with the reality you've programmed during sleep. It makes you notice what you need to notice. It makes you say what you need to say. It puts you in the right place at the right time with the right energy. Jessica Martinez discovered this in a completely different way. She was a marketing executive in Mexico City, working 16-hour days, burning out completely, watching her health and relationships deteriorate while her career stagnated. Jessica found what she called the Chamber of Whispers, not a physical place, a mental space she created just before sleep. In this inner sanctuary, she would whisper her I am declarations with such emotional intensity that they seemed to echo through dimensions. I am balanced. I am successful without sacrifice. I am creating abundance while nurturing my soul. But Jessica added something most people miss. She would pause between each declaration. She would breathe deeply. She would let the emotional truth of each statement saturate her entire being before moving to the next one. Within 30 days, Jessica's entire career shifted. She was offered a position with a company that valued work-life balance. The salary was higher, the pressure was lower, the fulfillment was deeper. Her sleeping mind had been working behind the scenes, arranging the perfect opportunity while she slept. Daniel Thompson was a fisherman in Nova Scotia. Generations of his family had worked the same waters, but the catches were getting smaller. The competition was getting fiercer. Daniel was facing the possibility that he might be the last Thompson to make a living from the sea. Daniel created what he called energetic fishing. Every morning before dawn, as he sailed to the fishing grounds, he would cast his I am declarations like nets of light into the sleeping waters of consciousness. I am abundant like the sea itself. I am in perfect harmony with nature's abundance. I am guided to exactly where I need to be. He would time these declarations with the rhythm of the waves, with the rhythm of his breathing, with the rhythm of his heartbeat. Daniel understood that abundance has a frequency, and he was tuning himself to that frequency every single day. The results were undeniable. Daniel started finding fish where other boats found nothing. He started attracting buyers who paid premium prices. He started experiencing a level of abundance that other fishermen called impossible. But Daniel knew it wasn't impossible. It was inevitable. His sleeping mind had been aligning him with the natural flow of abundance. Amanda Chen was a scribe in the imperial court of ancient China. Her job was to record the emperor's decrees, to preserve the wisdom of the dynasty for future generations. But Amanda discovered that the most powerful writing happened not during the day, but during the twilight hours between consciousness and sleep. Amanda would wait for that sacred moment when the sun touched the horizon, when day surrendered to night, when the veil between worlds became gossamer thin. In these twilight moments, she would inscribe her intentions for the next day with brush and ink, but more importantly, with the deepest levels of her being. I am worthy of recording eternal wisdom. I am a vessel for divine intelligence. I am creating beauty that will last forever. Amanda discovered that intentions planted during twilight took root in reality with mathematical precision. The emperor began requesting her specifically for the most important documents. Her calligraphy became legendary. Her influence in the court grew beyond anything she had imagined possible. Ashley Campbell was a modern cartographer, creating maps for hiking companies in Colorado. But Ashley discovered something extraordinary. She could map her own transformation using the same principles she used to map physical terrain. Ashley created what she called dream maps, visual representations of the different territories of her sleeping mind, each with its own laws, its own rhythms, its own potential for manifestation. She identified the valley of deep sleep, where subconscious programming was strongest. She mapped the peaks of REM sleep, where creative insights flowed like mountain streams. She charted the plateaus of light sleep, where affirmations could be absorbed like morning dew. Using these maps, Ashley learned to time her I am declarations for maximum impact. Certain statements worked best in deep sleep. Others were more powerful during REM cycles. Ashley turned her nightly sleep into a precisely orchestrated symphony of transformation. Within 6 months, Ashley had launched her own mapping company. Within a year, she was working with National Geographic. Within 2 years, she had published a book about conscious dreaming that became an international bestseller. Her sleeping mind had mapped out a path to success that her waking mind never could have imagined. These aren't fairy tales. These are documentation of how the sleeping mind operates when you give it clear, emotionally charged instructions about who you're becoming. The science of sleeping, mind activation. Your sleeping mind responds to more than just words. It responds to vibration, to geometry, to scent, to every sensory input you can consciously control. And when you understand how to activate all these elements simultaneously, the transformation becomes inevitable. Melissa Brooks discovered this by accident. She was a sound engineer in Nashville, working with recording artists, understanding frequency and vibration at a technical level. But when her own life started falling apart, when her marriage ended and her career stagnated, Melissa applied sound engineering principles to her own consciousness. She started chanting her I am declarations like crystal bowls, not just saying them, but creating specific frequencies with her voice that would penetrate her subconscious mind like sound waves penetrating water. I am harmoniously aligned with abundance. She would hold the I am for exactly 4 seconds, creating a low, resonant frequency that she could feel in her chest. She would hold abundant for 6 seconds, letting the sound vibrate through her entire body. She would repeat this pattern until the vibration seemed to continue even after she stopped chanting. Melissa understood that everything in the universe is vibration. Your thoughts are vibration. Your emotions are vibration. Your reality is vibration. When you match the vibrational frequency of what you want to become, you literally tune yourself to that reality. The results were immediate and undeniable. Within 2 weeks, Melissa was offered a position with a major record label. Within a month, she was working with Grammy-winning artists. Within 3 months, she had moved to Los Angeles and doubled her income. Her sleeping mind had been vibrating at the frequency of success, and reality had no choice but to match that frequency. Kevin Torres took this understanding even deeper. As a mathematics professor in Barcelona, Kevin understood that geometry underlies all of creation. Everything in the physical world follows geometric patterns. So Kevin decided to apply geometric principles to his sleeping mind programming. Kevin would visualize his I am declarations as specific geometric shapes as he drifted off to sleep. Triangle for stability. I am financially stable. He would see a perfect triangle of golden light, each side representing income, savings, and investments in perfect balance. Circle for completion. I am complete and whole. Kevin would visualize a perfect circle of white light, representing the wholeness he was becoming, the integration of all aspects of his life into harmonious unity. Spiral for growth. I am constantly expanding into greater success. Kevin would see a golden spiral, like the chambers of a nautilus shell, representing infinite growth and evolution. Square for manifestation. I am manifesting my desires with precision. Kevin would visualize a perfect square of crystalline light, representing the solid foundation upon which his dreams would become reality. This wasn't just visualization. This was applied sacred geometry. Kevin understood that these shapes carry specific frequencies, specific information patterns that the subconscious mind recognizes and responds to at the deepest levels. Kevin's career transformed completely. He was invited to speak at international mathematics conferences. His research was published in prestigious journals. He was offered a position at MIT. His sleeping mind had been working with geometric precision to manifest the exact reality he had visualized. Nicole Perry discovered the power of scent in subconscious programming. As an aromatherapist in Provence, Nicole understood that scent bypasses the rational mind and goes directly to the limbic system, the emotional center of the brain where memories and beliefs are stored. Nicole created what she called intention fragrances, custom scent blends designed to carry specific affirmations directly into her subconscious mind while she slept. For abundance, she blended bergamot, cedarwood, and frankincense. She would inhale this blend deeply while declaring, "I am abundantly provided for." The scent would anchor the emotional state of abundance in her nervous system. For confidence, she created a blend of rosemary, ginger, and sweet orange. As she breathed in this empowering scent, she would affirm, "I am powerfully confident in every situation." For clarity, she combined peppermint, eucalyptus, and lemon. While experiencing this mentally stimulating aroma, she would declare, "I am crystal clear about my path and purpose." Nicole understood that scent creates instant emotional states. When you anchor your I am declarations with specific scents, you create powerful triggers that can instantly shift your consciousness. Every time you smell that scent, your subconscious mind immediately accesses the beliefs and emotions you programmed during sleep. The transformation was remarkable. Nicole's aromatherapy practice became the most successful in the region. She was featured in international wellness magazines. She launched a line of intention fragrances that sold worldwide. Her sleeping mind had been working through multiple sensory channels to create a reality that exceeded her wildest dreams. But here's what all three of them understood that most people miss. The sleeping mind responds to multiple inputs simultaneously. When you combine affirmations with sound, with visualization, with scent, with specific breathing patterns, with emotional intensity, You create a transformation protocol that works at every level of your being. Your sleeping mind isn't just processing words. It's processing the complete sensory experience of who you're becoming. The more completely you can embody that experience during the transition into sleep, the more completely your subconscious mind will manifest that reality. This is advanced consciousness programming. This is how you accelerate transformation from months or years down to weeks or days. This is how you work with the full spectrum of your mind's creative power instead of just the surface level. While you sleep, your mind becomes a master craftsman. Your sleeping mind doesn't just process affirmations. It actually develops skills, heals trauma, and rebuilds your entire identity from the ground up. But most people have no idea how to access this level of transformation. Brandon Lee proved this in the most practical way possible. He was a martial arts instructor in San Francisco, but he wanted to master a completely new discipline: Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The problem was time. He was teaching classes 6 days a week. He had maybe 2 hours a week for actual training. At that rate, it would take him years to reach black belt level. But Brandon understood something that changed everything. Your sleeping mind can practice techniques perfectly, without physical limitations, without fatigue, without the learning curve that restricts your waking practice. Every night, as Brandon lay in bed preparing for sleep, he would mentally rehearse jiu-jitsu techniques with perfect form. He would visualize himself executing submissions, escapes, transitions with absolute precision. But here's the key. He didn't just visualize the movements. He felt them in his body. He experienced the leverage, the timing, the flow as if he were actually performing the techniques. I am a master of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I move with perfect technique and timing. My body knows exactly what to do in every situation. Brandon would repeat these affirmations while simultaneously visualizing himself performing advanced techniques flawlessly. He was programming both his conscious mind and his muscle memory during sleep. The results defied every traditional learning model. Brandon's progress accelerated dramatically. Techniques he had only visualized during sleep, he could perform physically with minimal practice. His instructors were amazed by how quickly he absorbed complex movements. What should have taken years took months. This is how the sleeping mind actually works. When you vividly imagine performing a skill during the transition into sleep, your brain creates the same neural pathways as if you were actually practicing. Your subconscious mind can't distinguish between perfectly visualized practice and physical practice. But Brandon took this even further. He started using his sleeping mind to diagnose and correct his own technique flaws. As he drifted off to sleep, he would replay his training sessions in slow motion, identifying exactly where his form broke down, then reprogramming those movements with perfect execution. Rachel Garcia discovered the sleeping mind's power to heal on an even deeper level. She had survived childhood trauma that left her with anxiety, depression, and a complete inability to trust herself or others. Years of therapy had helped, but she still felt broken, still felt like damaged goods. Rachel learned to use her sleeping mind as a healing sanctuary. As she prepared for sleep each night, she would create what she called the cosmic healing chamber, a visualization of being surrounded by infinite healing light, infinite love, infinite restoration. I am completely healed and whole. I am surrounded by infinite love. I am restored to my original perfection. But Rachel didn't just affirm healing. She would actually feel the healing happening in her body. She would visualize golden light flowing into every cell, repairing damage, restoring balance, creating wholeness where there had been brokenness. The transformation was profound. Rachel's anxiety began dissolving. Her depression lifted like morning fog. Her ability to trust and connect with others returned stronger than ever. Her sleeping mind had been working at the cellular level, the emotional level, the spiritual level to create complete restoration. Timothy Foster experienced this healing power in a different way. He had developed chronic pain from years of construction work. His back, his knees, his shoulders were constantly aching. Medical doctors told him it was permanent damage from decades of physical labor. But Timothy understood that pain often lives as much in the mind as in the body. He started using his sleeping mind to reprogram his relationship with pain, to activate his body's natural healing abilities. I am pain-free and completely healthy. My body heals perfectly while I sleep. Every cell in my body vibrates with perfect health and vitality. Timothy would visualize healing light flowing through his spine, his joints, his muscles as he drifted into sleep. He would feel his body relaxing completely, releasing tension, allowing natural healing to occur. Within weeks, Timothy's pain levels dropped significantly. Within months, he was pain-free for the first time in years. His sleeping mind had been directing his body's healing resources with surgical precision. But here's the most powerful discovery. Christina Patel learned that the sleeping mind operates like a master weaver, taking every experience, every affirmation, every intention, and weaving them into the fabric of a new reality. Christina was a textile artist in Mumbai, so she understood weaving at a practical level. But she discovered that consciousness works the same way. Every thought, every emotion, every belief is a thread. And the sleeping mind is the master loom that weaves these threads into the pattern of your life experience. I am weaving a life of extraordinary beauty and abundance. Every thought is a golden thread. Every dream is a perfect pattern. Christina would visualize her affirmations as threads of different colors. Abundance was golden thread. Love was rose-colored thread. Health was emerald thread. Success was silver thread. As she fell asleep, she would see these threads being woven into an increasingly beautiful tapestry by the master weaver of her sleeping mind. This understanding transformed not just Christina's inner experience, but her outer reality as well. Her textile art began expressing levels of beauty she had never achieved before. Her pieces started selling to international collectors. Her income increased tenfold. Her sleeping mind had been weaving a reality that matched the beauty she was creating in consciousness. The sleeping mind is your most sophisticated transformation tool. It can develop skills, heal wounds, rebuild identities, and create realities that your waking mind considers impossible. But only if you learn to work with it consciously, intentionally, with the same precision you would use for any other important skill. When everything falls apart, that's when real transformation begins. Here's what nobody tells you about transformation. It doesn't feel good, not at first. When you start reprogramming your sleeping mind, when you start declaring new realities with your I am statements, everything in your current reality will seem to push back harder. This isn't failure, this is physics. Tiffany Rodriguez learned this the hard way. She had been affirming abundance every night for 2 weeks. I am wealthy beyond measure. I am financially free. I am abundant in all areas of life. She was doing everything right. The emotional intensity, the perfect timing just before sleep, the unwavering consistency. But instead of improvement, everything seemed to get worse. Unexpected expenses, car repairs, medical bills. Her boss started questioning her performance. Her relationship began showing strain. Tiffany was ready to quit the whole process. But here's what was really happening. Tiffany's old reality was fighting to survive. Every limiting belief about money, every fear about success, every program that had kept her small was being challenged by her new declarations. And her external world was reflecting that internal battle. This is the alchemy of resistance. When you start changing at the deepest levels of your being, everything that doesn't match your new identity has to be dissolved. Old patterns have to break down before new patterns can emerge. It's like renovating a house. You have to tear down the old walls before you can build the new ones. Tiffany understood that discomfort is a precise signal of refinement. Every challenging situation was like a loving cut from a master diamond cutter, revealing new facets of her emerging self. The pressure wasn't punishment. It was preparation. She kept going. Every night, despite the chaos in her external world, Tiffany continued her I am declarations with even greater intensity. I am being refined into my highest self. I am becoming the woman who can handle unlimited abundance. I am strong enough to birth my new reality. On day 21, everything shifted. Tiffany was offered a promotion she hadn't even applied for. A financial opportunity appeared out of nowhere. Her relationship deepened and strengthened. Her entire world reorganized itself around her new internal reality. This is how transformation actually works. You don't gradually become successful. You suddenly become successful after gradually becoming the person who can handle success. Jeremy Walsh experienced this same process, but from a different angle. He had been struggling with confidence his entire life. Social anxiety, imposter syndrome, the constant fear that people would discover he wasn't as capable as he pretended to be. Jeremy started using I am declarations to reprogram his self-image. I am powerfully confident. I am worthy of respect and admiration. I am completely comfortable being myself in any situation. But as Jeremy's internal confidence grew, his external world became more challenging. People started questioning him more aggressively. Situations arose that tested his newfound confidence. His boss gave him more responsibility than ever before. It was like the universe was saying, "Prove it." Jeremy realized that his I am declarations weren't just changing his self-perception. They were calling forth situations that would force him to embody that new identity. Every challenge was an invitation to step more fully into the confident person he was becoming. Jeremy started seeing these challenges as navigation tools rather than obstacles. His inner compass of I am confidence was guiding him through the storm of transformation, keeping him on course toward the person he was becoming even when the external circumstances seemed to suggest he was moving in the wrong direction. The confidence Jeremy had been affirming during sleep wasn't just a feeling. It was becoming a lived reality, tested and proven through real-world experience. His sleeping mind had been preparing him for the challenges he would need to face as a confident person. Here's the brutal truth about transformation that most people can't handle. Your sleeping mind will arrange whatever experiences you need to become the person you're declaring yourself to be. If you're affirming I am powerful, you'll be given situations that require you to exercise power. If you're declaring I am wise, you'll face circumstances that demand wisdom. This is why so many people quit just before their breakthrough. They think the increased pressure means they're doing something wrong, but the increased pressure means they're doing something right. It means their sleeping mind is taking their declarations seriously and rearranging reality to match their new identity. The key is understanding that pressure is not your enemy. Pressure is your sculptor. Every challenge is shaping you into the person who can live the reality you're creating with your nighttime affirmations. Every difficulty is removing what doesn't belong in your new identity. When you're in the middle of this transformation pressure, when everything seems to be falling apart, that's when you need to affirm with even greater intensity. That's when you need to trust your sleeping mind's intelligence even more completely. That's when you're closest to your breakthrough. The diamond doesn't complain about the pressure that creates it. The butterfly doesn't resist the dissolution that transforms it. And you can't transform into your highest self while avoiding the pressure that makes that transformation possible. Your sleeping mind understands this process perfectly. It knows that real change requires real pressure. It knows that declaring a new identity means dismantling the old one. It knows that you can't become extraordinary while remaining comfortable. When the pressure intensifies, that's your sleeping mind working. When challenges multiply, that's your affirmations taking effect. When everything seems to fall apart, That's when everything is actually coming together in exactly the way it needs to for your transformation to be complete and permanent. The sacred laboratory, where impossible becomes inevitable. What you're about to understand will fundamentally alter your relationship with reality itself. Your sleeping mind doesn't just process affirmations. It operates as a cosmic alchemical laboratory where the impossible transmutes into the inevitable. Aaron Kim discovered this during the darkest period of his life. His technology startup had failed catastrophically. He had lost his life savings, his investors' money, his reputation in the industry. Worse than the financial devastation was the emotional destruction. Years of limiting beliefs about his worth, his capabilities, his right to succeed had been activated and were now dominating his consciousness completely. But Aaron understood something that changed everything. The sleeping state allows access to alchemical processes that operate beyond the limitations of waking consciousness. During sleep, your mind can literally transmute limiting emotions into pure spiritual power. Every night, as Aaron prepared for sleep, he would enter what he called the crucible of inner alchemy. He wouldn't try to avoid or suppress his feelings of failure, shame, and inadequacy. Instead, he would consciously bring these emotions into his sleeping mind's laboratory for transformation. I am transmuting all limitation into unlimited power. I am converting all fear into unshakable faith. I am transforming all failure into inevitable success. But here's what made Aaron's approach different. He would actually feel the limiting emotions fully, then visualize them being dissolved in the infinite light of his sleeping consciousness. He would see fear melting like ice in sunlight. He would watch shame evaporating like morning mist. He would experience limitation being alchemically converted into limitless potential. Aaron discovered that the sleeping mind operates like a philosopher's stone, capable of transmuting any base emotion into spiritual gold. Every night, he was literally converting years of accumulated limitation into pure creative power. The transformation was extraordinary. Within 6 months, Aaron had attracted new investors who believed in his vision. Within a year, he had launched a more successful company than before. Within 2 years, he had become a millionaire several times over. But more important than the external success was the internal transformation. Aaron had become someone who could alchemically convert any challenge into opportunity. Christopher Sullivan took this understanding to its ultimate conclusion. As a quantum physicist at Stanford, Christopher understood that consciousness and reality operate according to principles most people never discover. Christopher realized that consciousness is not a thing but a dance. An infinite dance between potential and manifestation, between the dreamer and the dream, between what is and what could be. And the sleeping state is where this dance becomes most elegant and powerful. I am dancing with infinite possibility. I am in perfect harmony with the creative force of the universe. I am co-creating reality with cosmic intelligence. Christopher would enter sleep as if entering a cosmic ballroom, where his consciousness could dance with universal principles, where his intentions could waltz with quantum possibilities, where his dreams could tango with the fundamental forces of creation. Christopher discovered that there is no end to this dance, no final destination where transformation stops. Every night offers new opportunities for deeper alignment, greater creativity, more elegant manifestation. The sleeping mind is not a tool you master, but a partner you learn to dance with more gracefully. This understanding revolutionized not just Christopher's research, but his entire experience of being human. He began publishing papers that bridged science and consciousness in ways that opened new fields of study. He was invited to speak at conferences worldwide. His work began influencing how quantum physics understood the role of consciousness in reality creation. But Christopher's greatest discovery was that the sleeping mind offers infinite opportunities for growth, infinite possibilities for transformation, infinite invitations to dance more beautifully with the creative forces of existence. This is your invitation to continue this dance, not as a technique you practice, but as a way of being you embody, not as a goal you achieve, but as a journey you embrace. Every night, your sleeping mind is offering you a new opportunity to dance with your highest potential. The ancient masters knew this secret. They understood that sleep is not just rest but renaissance, not just recuperation but recreation, not just dreaming but designing. Every time you close your eyes, you're entering the most sophisticated creativity laboratory in the universe. Your sleeping mind is waiting for you to take this dance seriously, to approach it with the reverence and intention it deserves, to use it not just for small improvements but for complete transformation of who you are and what you're capable of creating. This is your moment to step onto the dance floor of infinite possibility. This is your invitation to let your sleeping mind show you realities you never knew were possible. This is your opportunity to discover that what you've been calling impossible has been waiting for you in the sacred laboratory of sleep. Tonight, when you close your eyes, remember that you're not just going to sleep. You're entering the cosmic workshop where dreams become reality, where intentions become destiny, where the person you're becoming in your sleeping mind becomes the person you are in your waking life. You're at the crossroads right now. This moment, this breath, this heartbeat, you can feel it, can't you? The old version of yourself pulling you back toward mediocrity, toward the same patterns, the same limitations, the same excuses. But something else is calling you forward, something deeper than your fears, something stronger than your doubts, something that knows you were meant for more than the life you've been settling for. Your sleeping mind is waiting, 8 hours of pure transformation potential every single night, but most people waste it. They let their subconscious run on default programming. They let their dreams replay their limitations instead of creating their liberation. You're different. You wouldn't be here if you weren't ready for real change. You wouldn't be listening if you were satisfied with ordinary. You wouldn't be seeking if you weren't meant to find. Tonight changes everything. Not next week, not when you feel ready, not when the circumstances are perfect. Tonight, because your sleeping mind doesn't care about your excuses, it only cares about your instructions. Every affirmation you speak before sleep becomes a command to the universe. Every I am declaration becomes a blueprint for your reality. Every visualization becomes a preview of your inevitable future. But here's what separates the dreamers from the achievers. The dreamers wait for permission. The achievers give themselves permission. The dreamers wait for the right moment. The achievers create the right moment. Your moment is now. Your permission is granted. Your transformation is activated. If you want to continue this journey, if you want to unlock every secret your sleeping mind is hiding, if you want to discover realities that will shock even you, then don't wait. Subscribe now. Because what you're about to discover will change not just how you sleep, but how you live. Not tomorrow, not later, not when you feel like it. Right now, because your new life is waiting in your next dream.